One of the things I like most about his deck is it seems like a very good deck as far as its removal base goes. It has a really diverse range of removal that can accomplish a lot of things. Abrupt Decay and Hero's Downfall kill a huge swath of threats in this format, and also things like Detention Sphere or Elspeth that are less threats and more solutions from the opponent. And then you have Doomblade, which is just a marquee removal spell as well.
Okay, apparently Ryan won the last game at over 40 life. How did he do that? Well, unflinching courage?
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe Tristani.
Maybe Tristani. I would actually think Tristani is more likely than the courage. I would not want to bring in courage in this match.
I wouldn't want to bring in courage either. But there is Tristani. Oh, and Archangel of Thune.
That card's probably fine. It dodges Abrupt Decay, but it's still vulnerable to Hero's Downfall and Doomblade. I think both those cards are reasonable. Advent of the Worm is one of the ways Ryan can really jump ahead, so that's why I actually kind of like the Tristani. The idea of being able to create multiple Advent tokens is a pretty big game.
The last time that we saw Ryan Gerhart under the camera, he was playing against a rock deck, which definitely has better mana in terms of consistency than Dan Musser's list. We'll have to see if there are any mana issues that help complicate the situation for Dan and make Ryan go over the top here.
Yeah, it looks like Dan tanked a little on his keep, but Ryan's shuffling back, going for a mulligan.
Both of these decks offer an alternative to the squeeze that I talked about in this week's article between blue-white based control and red aggro. Mm-hmm. I think they both potentially have the tools to be able to fight in that kind of play space.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think the green-white deck, obviously occupies a pretty specific niche. It goes bigger than the red deck and just tries to attack the Wrath deck to death before it can get Wrath. It has things like Selesnya Charm and Advent of the Worm to keep making threats in the face of a Supreme Verdict, and a Planeswalker in the form of a Johnny Color the Pride is also no small thing in those matchups. You can't underestimate a threat that just stays on the board and keeps you from getting just owned by a Wrath.
And the white counterspell, Rootbound Defenses, all you care about is the Supreme Verdict. Rootbound Defenses will take care of you. Okay. Dan and Ryan appear to be ready with their mulligans finished. Dan, he's got his card down. He's like, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to put this down on the table. Come on, just let me do it.
Ryan might not be done with his mulligans. It looks like he's tanking on a single forest hand, and he's going to throw it back.
And I think we're down to 5 now.
Yep.
I would be expecting Dan Musser to put a come into play tapped land into play and passing the turn. Just the way he was setting his hand.
Sure.
It seemed like that's the probable.
He does have access to Elvish Mystic, but most of his lands that can cast it actually do generally come into play tapped. He's got access to 8 shock lands, but beyond that, he's only got 5 forests, and 2 life is not something I would eagerly give up in this matchup. If I'm not curving out into like a turn 2 Loxodon Smiter, I'd probably be content to turn 2 my Elvish Mystic a lot of the time. Just save that 2 life.
If you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here in the booth with the one, the only Glenn Jones, and this is the StarCityGames.com Open Series here in Cleveland. Now, if you're in anywhere near this area, we still have more things going on this weekend, so Legacy tomorrow, my favorite constructed format. Come on down. Show us what you can do. There's lots going on. Do we have any other awesome events this weekend that are on the schedule?
I know that we fired an open trial today. I'm not sure what our side event schedule looks like for tomorrow. We'll obviously always have win-a-boxes in a variety of formats available, and some nice and competitive drafts, so you can get your Theros on.
Temple of Silence opens the game for Dan Musser. One of 2 Selesnya Guild Gates from Ryan Gerhart, only 2 in the deck.
Dan may have kept a hand without green here. He has a Loxodon Smiter, but I don't think he has a green source. Yep.
Pass. No third land. And Ryan Gerhart, no third play. He might have a Boon Satyr in his hand.
Dan, ecstatic to hit the forest for his turn 4 Loxodon Smiter. Completely fine in the face of Ryan's declining to have a threat.
Tristani and a smile.
Yeah, I think our read might have been right on how that last game ended. And Dan, has a hand full of Abrupt Decays, but he's also got 1 Doomblade. And 1's all you need to take care of Tristani.
I think he might be thinking, because Archangel of Thune, if there's only 1 Doomblade, Archangel of Thune could be a real problem.
Yeah, it could be the larger threat. the 2/5 is going to get in the way of Loxodon Smiter, but he also has the ability to just play another Smiter and start cracking with one of them getting through each turn. However, there are dangers. An Advent of the Worm would obviously force him to blow the Doomblade, or force him to blow Abrupt Decay, I should say, and then he has to pretty much Doomblade the Tristani if he doesn't. It's just a very murky situation.
He lays the Godless Shrine into play untapped, 2 pain, leaving him the opportunity to cast the Abrupt Decay should he want.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of paints it on his forehead though too, because if he had 2 Doomblades, he would probably have just snapped Doomblade the Tristani. It wouldn't have required that level of thought. So Ryan's got to keep that in mind. He's probably going to go ahead and just jam out this Loxodon Smiter, not try and hold up Advent of the Worm for the sneaky block.
And I think it's the dead. Yep, there it is. Dead Smiter walking. Goodbye. In for 4 again.
Dan moving to try and close this out quickly.
This is one of the things I like about a more traditional junk list, is that it can drop the clock. It can try to close out a game. Mm-hmm. Another Smiter, another land, passes it back.
Yeah, Dan did not have access to the double green he needs to Advent of the Worm on this turn, but, I would have actually debated even casting Advent of the Worm, considering the only removal spell in my opponent's green-white deck is Selesnya Charm. The 4/4 can actually just keep attacking no matter what happens.
Tristani in play. A very, very big butt on Tristani. One of these Smiters, oh boy, Obsidian runs away. Ryan Gerhart's life very quickly falling. But let's say he's got an Archangel here. His opponent's tapped out. An Advent of the Worm is 10 life.
I think he just drew Archangel. He did. He just peeled that right off the top. You are some kind of prophet.
Oh boy.
Archangel of Thune, I think that's got to be our line this turn. It'll obviously gain us a lot of life and create some pretty sizable monsters. It'll be able to deter even the Obstat by boosting the Tristani up to 6 toughness.
Yeah, that's a 5 life from a Advent of the Worm, 4 life from Archangel, but still, just being out there.
Mm-hmm.
The triggered ability being a pretty good one. Boom.
Dan, no doubt unhappy to see that one.
If you see the tokens being generated, that is from the Archangel of Thune's triggered ability that triggers on any life gain.
Including Tristani's.
And back comes Obsidian. Take 2. Down to 4. Archangel now a 4/5. Oh!
Shadowborn Demon peeled off the top.
Nice.
That is a good one, and that'll let him swing through for lethal, I think. Oh no, he went to 8. I'm sorry, we had the wrong life total up. It's not lethal, but it's a lot, right? Oh no, it is lethal. Yeah.
It is lethal.
Sorry, I was thinking he had lethal even with the. I think the lifelink from the Archangel of Thune was preventing lethal before. Wow, that was quite a game. No threat from Ryan until the later turns, and Dan kept a no green and got there.
Yep.
Had to stumble for a turn, but
it was a turn 4 Smiter.
Yep.
But you know what? Smiter hits hard, and then another Smiter joined the table, and it didn't take very long for Ryan Gerhart to fall. Lots of creatures killed in there. We saw Doomblade, we saw Abrupt Decay, we saw a Shadowborn Demon, and all of this just kept Ryan off balance enough for him to die.
Yeah. We also got to see the potential way that Ryan can, really go big in this matchup to avoid getting, taken down by things like Abrupt Decay. It forces Dan to lean on either drawing his Doomblades or using the less efficient Hero's Downfall. And that's the kind of strain you really want to put in a matchup like this, where you both have, some pretty similarly sized guys. You both have Smiter, you both have Advent of the Worm, you both have some mana production to get them out there early.